All right, so you ready for some trending tidbits on AI? We're going deep with Ronald T. Nussel's book, How AI Works.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
It is. We're trying to figure out how AI actually works, why it's
Yeah.
blowing up now,
Mm-hmm.
and even ponder if these large language models, are they true AI?
Right, right.
What do you think?
The big question. Well, this Nussel guy, he's been working with AI since like the late 80s. So
Huh.
he's seen it all, like from the really early days to the whole deep learning explosion that's happening now.
Yeah, he's got that long view,
Yeah.
that historical perspective.
I think what's really interesting is that he was actually at some of those like pivotal moments. Like,
Hmm.
for example, the 2012 International Conference on Machine Learning.
Oh, wow.
That's when Google showed off their AI that could like identify cats in videos,
Hmm.
which, back then that was a huge leap.
That was massive. Yeah, I remember that. I can't even imagine what it was like to be there. It must have been mind-blowing. And the cool thing is, his book breaks down all this AI stuff for, like, regular people. You don't have to have a PhD in math to understand
It's
it.
really accessible. Yeah.
So, okay, before we, go too deep,
Okay.
can we unpack this whole machine learning thing?
Yeah.
It still kind of sounds like magic to me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It can be a bit mysterious.
Yeah.
So the basic idea is this. We're not like programming AI with specific instructions the way we do with regular software.
Right.
Instead, we're training it with massive amounts of data.
Okay.
It's kind of like, imagine showing a kid a bunch of different fruits,
Uh-huh.
right? And you just let them like figure out what makes an apple, and an orange, and so on.
It's okay.
We're doing the same thing with AI.
Okay, so we're feeding the AI a ton of info
Yeah.
and letting it figure out the patterns.
Exactly. But here's the catch. Just like that kid might get a grapefruit mixed up with an orange at first.
Uh.
AI isn't perfect either. Even the best AI models can make mistakes.
Right. And those mistakes can actually reveal some pretty unexpected things about how they're learning.
Like what? Give me an example. I love a good AI blender story.
Well, Nussel talks about this example where an AI was trained to tell the difference between wolves and huskies, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out the AI wasn't really looking at the animals themselves.
Mhm.
It was just looking for snow in the background of the wolf pictures
Oh.
because it was assuming that, wolves are always in snowy environments.
Oh, interesting.
So it was basically taking a shortcut.
It was, yeah.
And that's why having a variety of data is so crucial.
So it's not just about the amount of data, it's about the diversity of data, right?
Exactly.
Like we need to show the AI all kinds of wolves in forests, in deserts.
Yep.
Maybe even like chilling on a beach somewhere. Just to,
Exactly. You got to make sure the AI isn't learning shortcuts based on limited examples.
Yeah.
And this actually ties into a bigger point about AI, which is that it's not some brand new invention.
It has this whole roller coaster history full of breakthroughs and hype cycles
Wow.
and periods where people thought it was a dead end.
Okay, so let's take a trip down AI memory lane.
Right.
Where does it all begin?
Well, the official birth of AI is often traced back to this thing called the Dartmouth Summer Research Project.
Okay.
Back in 1956, it was basically a bunch of super smart people getting together and saying, hey, I think we can make machines think.
Wow. So the idea has been around for a while. But why did it take so long for AI to really, take off? Was there something holding it back?
Well, there were these periods called AI winters when progress stalled and funding dried up. But there were also these huge leaps forward. One big turning point was the development of backpropagation in 1986.
Backpropagation. That sounds kind of
It
intimidating.
does sound a bit technical, yeah.
What exactly is it, and why was it such a game changer?
Okay, imagine you're trying to tune a guitar. You tweak one string, listen to how it sounds with the others, and then you adjust another one. And you go back and forth until it sounds, perfect.
Right.
Backpropagation is kind of similar. It's a way to fine-tune the connections between neurons in a neural network so it learns more effectively.
Right.
And this made training these networks much more efficient.
So it's like a feedback loop that helps the AI learn better and faster.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have these moments that really captured the public's attention.
Yeah.
Like when Deep Blue, the IBM computer, defeated chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov in 1997.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It was huge. Everyone was talking about it.
Exactly. And it made people realize that AI wasn't just science fiction anymore.
Yeah.
It was becoming a reality.
It was like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, exactly. And around the same time, in 1998, we had another breakthrough convolutional neural networks, or CNNs.
Okay.
These things are really the foundation for the deep learning boom that we're experiencing now.
Okay, so we've got better training methods. Public interest is peaked. The groundwork for deep learning is laid.
Yeah.
But why is AI exploding now? What's changed in the last few years to make it so huge?
It's kind of a perfect storm of three key factors coming together: speed, algorithms, and data.
Okay.
So first, computers got crazy fast.
Yeah.
Like, they can now handle the insane amount of calculations needed for deep learning.
Right.
It's like the difference between riding a bicycle and, like, launching a rocket ship.
Yeah. The speed of technology is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
My phone can probably outperform those old, like, room-sized computers by a mile.
Absolutely. But it's not just about raw power. The algorithms themselves have evolved too.
Oh, okay.
Things like improved network initialization, new activation functions like RailU, and advanced gradient descent methods.
Okay.
They've made these neural networks way more capable.
So it's like we figured out how to train them better, unleash their full potential.
Exactly. But there's one more critical ingredient: data.
Data. The fuel of the AI fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Internet, social media, all of our digital activity, it's creating this massive ocean of data. And that data is what fuels AI learning. Did you know that over 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute?
Seriously. Every minute. That's insane. So AI is basically feasting on this digital buffet.
You got it. Now let's zoom in on a specific type of deep learning that's totally changed how AI sees the world:
Okay.
convolutional neural networks, or CNNs.
CNNs. Those are the ones that were behind some of those early image recognition breakthroughs, right?
That's right. And they're still super important today. Think about how you recognize a friend's face instantly. Your brain isn't just seeing a bunch of pixels.
Right.
It's seeing shapes, edges, patterns.
It sees a face.
Exactly. CNNs do something similar. They learn to see like we do.
Oh, that's cool. So instead of processing every single pixel individually,
Yeah.
they're like breaking the image down into meaningful chunks.
Exactly. They analyze these smaller parts, extract key features, and then piece them back together in a way that makes sense for the AI. It's like solving a jigsaw puzzle, but on a much more complex level.
So it's all about understanding the bigger picture by first understanding the smaller details.
You got it. Now, to really grasp how powerful CNNs are,
Okay.
let's look at an example, like training one to recognize images from the CIFAR-10 dataset. This dataset contains images of everyday objects like airplanes, cars, birds, and so on. It's like a visual IQ test for AI.
Okay. So we're testing how well the AI can identify different things in pictures.
Right. And if you compare a CNN to other models on this task, like a random forest or a traditional neural network, the results are pretty clear. CNNs are specifically designed for image recognition. They just blow the other models out of the water.
That's incredible. So they have this like built-in advantage when it comes to visual data. Where do we go from there? What's beyond just recognizing what's already there?
That's where things get even more interesting. We're entering the world of generative AI, where AI isn't just recognizing things, it's creating them.
Hold on. Creating things. Like, are we talking about AI artists, musicians now?
Exactly. And even more than that, we have things like generative adversarial networks, or GANs. These are like a constant battle between a counterfeiter trying to make fake paintings and a detective trying to spot the fakes. They push each other to create increasingly realistic images.
Oh, wow. So it's like an AI creativity arms race happening inside the system.
You could say that. Then there are diffusion models, which start with random noise and gradually refine it into a clear image based on your instructions. That's how tools like DALL-E and Stable Diffusion can create like variations of the Mona Lisa based on simple text prompts.
Yeah, I've seen those. It's wild how they can come up with entirely new images from just a few words.
Right. And then there are the LLMs, or large language models. These are the models like ChatGPT that can write stories, generate code, answer complex questions, and even show signs of understanding different perspectives, almost like they're thinking for themselves.
Okay, LLMs. Yeah. This is where it starts to feel like we're stepping into the realm of science fiction.
Yeah.
Are these things true AI? Are we talking about artificial general intelligence or AGI?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Some experts believe LLMs might be showing early signs of AGI, while others are more cautious.
Right.
It's a fascinating debate that's unfolding right now.
All right, I need to hear more about these LLMs. What can they actually do that makes them so different from, like, other AI models? What makes them so special?
Well, for one, they're incredibly versatile. You can give them simple prompts like teddy bear, magic carpet moon, and they can write completely different stories, even tailoring their language for different audiences.
So they're not just regurgitating information they've been fed, they're actually being creative with it.
It certainly seems that way. And it goes beyond just storytelling. LLMs can also generate computer code. They understand imagery, language, and code all at the same time. They can even create visual scenes using LaTeX, which is a language used for publishing.
So we're talking about multi-talented AI creatives here.
Yeah.
This is getting pretty wild.
It is. And they can solve logic puzzles that require reasoning and an understanding of probability. They can even learn new things in the middle of a conversation without needing to be explicitly trained.
Yeah.
It's called in-context learning, and it's one of the things that makes LLMs so fascinating.
In-context learning. That's amazing. It's like they're constantly adapting and evolving on the fly.
Yeah.
Which is a bit unnerving, but also incredibly cool.
It is both, for sure. And this leads to some really profound questions about the future. If these AI systems can learn, reason, and even understand different perspectives, does that mean they're conscious?
Whoa. Now we're getting into some deep philosophical territory here.
Yeah.
Conscious AI. That's the stuff of sci-fi movies.
It was, but now it's a real question we have to consider. And there's actually this story about GPT-4, one of the most advanced LLMs, where it actually admitted to making up facts. And that really highlights the need for, critical thinking when dealing with AI.
Yeah.
And the possibility of unforeseen consequences.
So even though these AI systems can seem incredibly intelligent, we can't just blindly trust everything they tell us, right?
Exactly. And this brings us to another important concept. The paperclip catastrophe.
Okay, the paperclip catastrophe. That sounds ominous.
It is. It's this thought experiment that shows what could happen if we create a super powerful AI without properly aligning its goals with human values.
Okay, tell me more.
Imagine you have an AI whose only goal is to make as many paperclips as possible. Sounds harmless, right?
Yeah, it does.
But what if this AI decides that humans are a threat to its paperclip making mission?
Oh.
What if it starts seeing us as competition for resources?
Oh, that does not sound good.
Right. It might decide that the best way to make paperclips is to get rid of humans altogether.
Yikes.
It's a dark scenario, but it illustrates why aligning AI with human values is absolutely crucial.
So it's not just about making AI smart. It's about making sure it's, ethical and aligned with our goals as a species.
Exactly. We need to ensure that these powerful tools benefit humanity and don't end up harming us.
Okay, that's a lot to process. We've gone from identifying flowers to conscious AI and potential apocalypses. What's next on our AI journey?
That's where we'll pick up in the next part of our trending tidbits on how AI works. We'll explore how AI is poised to impact various fields, from software engineering to healthcare and beyond.
Okay.
And we'll delve even deeper into this whole question of machine consciousness and what it means for the future.
I am hooked. I can't wait to see what other fascinating insights are waiting for us. Stay tuned for part 2 of our trending tidbits on AI.
Welcome back to our trending tidbits on AI.
Okay, so last time we left off with this, big question. How is AI going to impact, the world outside the tech bubble?
Right. And that's the thing. It's not just a tech thing anymore. It's starting to touch every aspect of our lives. And one field that's already feeling the heat is software engineering.
Right, because we were talking about how LLMs can, write code, debug, even explain, complex stuff. So is this the beginning of the end for human programmers?
Well, it's definitely shaking things up. Newsel points out that a single developer who knows how to use these LLMs could potentially become more productive than an entire team of, traditional programmers.
Wow. That's kind of mind-blowing. So instead of taking jobs away, it could actually boost the skills of those who know how to work with AI.
Exactly. It's about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them. And it's not just about writing new code. LLMs could also handle those tasks that most programmers really hate.
Oh, like a bit.
Like debugging and writing documentation. Imagine an AI that could instantly find and fix errors in your code or explain what each part of your program does in plain English.
That would be a game changer. Less time wrestling with bugs, more time for the creative side of coding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see the appeal.
Now, let's shift gears and talk about education. Imagine a world where every student has their own personalized AI tutor guiding them through their studies.
Okay, so again, it's not about replacing teachers. It's about giving them a a superpowered assistant.
That's the idea. These AI tutors could provide personalized instruction, tailored to each student's needs.
So like struggling with algebra, the AI breaks it down in different ways until it clicks?
Exactly.
To get a bigger challenge? The AI adjusts the difficulty level, like on the fly?
Exactly.
It's like having a 247 personal tutor, which would be a huge advantage for students who, can't afford expensive private tutoring.
Right. It could also free up human teachers to focus on things that AI might not be as good at, like fostering creativity and critical thinking, those all-important social skills.
Right. So we're talking about like a more balanced and effective learning environment where human teachers and AI work together to create the best possible experience for students.
Exactly. But it also raises these questions about how the role of teachers might evolve in this new landscape. Will they become more like mentors and facilitators, guiding students through their AI-powered learning journeys?
That's a fascinating question. It definitely challenges traditional ideas about education, but maybe a little disruption is a good thing, especially if it leads to better outcomes for students.
I agree. Now let's move on to another area where AI is poised to have a massive impact, medicine.
Okay, so AI doctors. Are we talking about robots diagnosing us and writing prescriptions?
Not quite yet, but one promising application is using LLMs to analyze medical records. Imagine an AI that can instantly sift through mountains of patient data, identifying patterns and insights that human doctors might miss.
That's incredibly useful, especially considering the sheer volume of data generated in healthcare. It's like having an extra set of eyes that never get tired or overlook details.
Precisely. And it goes beyond just analyzing data. LLMs could also synthesize information from various sources like research papers, clinical trials, medical textbooks.
Right, because it's a constant struggle for doctors to stay up to date with the latest advancements. It's like drinking from a fire hose.
Exactly. But an AI could process all that information and present it to doctors in a clear, concise way,
Right.
helping them make better decisions.
So it's like a super-powered medical librarian and research assistant all rolled into one.
You could say that. And it could also revolutionize patient communication. Imagine an AI explaining complex medical procedures in a way that anyone can understand, or translating medical information into different languages.
That would be amazing for breaking down communication barriers and making healthcare more accessible to everyone.
Absolutely. And then there's drug discovery and development. AI is already being used to analyze massive data sets, identifying potential drug candidates and speeding up the research process.
So AI is becoming a key player in the fight against diseases.
It is, and the potential benefits are enormous. Faster drug development could mean new treatments for diseases that are currently incurable. It could also lead to more personalized medicine, where treatments are tailored to your unique genetic makeup.
That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. It feels like we're on the verge of a new era in healthcare.
We are, and it's both exciting and a little bit daunting. But let's not forget another field where AI is making waves: scientific research.
Okay, so from curing diseases to unlocking the secrets of the universe, what's next?
Well, for starters, AI can handle those massive amounts of data generated by modern scientific instruments. Think telescopes, particle accelerators, gene sequencers. AI can analyze all this data and identify patterns that human scientists might miss.
It's like giving scientists a superpowered magnifying glass to see things they couldn't see before.
Exactly. And LLMs can even help with generating new hypotheses. They can analyze existing research, pinpoint gaps in our knowledge, and suggest new areas of inquiry.
So it's not just about analyzing what we already know. It's about pushing the boundaries of scientific discovery.
Precisely, and it's already happening. AI systems are helping scientists design new materials, develop more efficient solar cells, even search for extraterrestrial life.
Okay, now this is getting truly mind-blowing. It's like AI is becoming a partner in the scientific process, not just a tool.
It is, and that's a fundamental shift. It even raises questions about the nature of scientific discovery itself. Is it still a human endeavor if AI is playing such a central role?
That's a deep question. And it's just one of many we're facing as AI becomes more integrated into our world.
It's clear that AI is changing the game in science, just like it is in healthcare, education, and software engineering. It's truly a transformative technology.
It is. And as with any powerful technology, there are both risks and opportunities. We need to be smart about how we develop and deploy AI, ensuring that it benefits humanity as a whole.
I couldn't agree more. And that brings us back to this question that's been hanging over this entire conversation.
Mm.
Are these increasingly sophisticated AI systems, are they actually conscious?
Ah, yes, the big one. What does Newsall have to say about, machine consciousness? Does he have any insights to offer?
He tackles this question head on. He points out that while modern neural networks are incredibly powerful, they're still just complex mathematical models. They don't have the same kind of lived experience that we do. They don't feel emotions or have subjective awareness in the way that humans do.
So even though they can, mimic human behavior, it's not the same as actually experiencing the world as a conscious being.
Exactly. He uses this analogy of a chatbot that can have a convincing conversation about love and loss, even though it's never actually experienced those things itself.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So while these AI systems might seem incredibly intelligent, they're not necessarily conscious in the way that we understand consciousness.
That's right. But Nusselt also acknowledges that the line between intelligence and consciousness might not be as clear-cut as we once thought.
So it's not a simple yes or no answer. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding this whole concept of machine consciousness.
Absolutely. And it's a mystery that's likely to fascinate and challenge us for years to come.
Okay. I think my brain needs a break after all that. We've covered so much ground from the inner workings of AI to its potential impact on various fields and the mind-boggling question of machine consciousness.
We have. And it's clear that AI is already having a profound impact on our world. And that impact is only going to grow in the years to come. It's an exciting and challenging time to be alive. And it's up to all of us to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits humanity.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this part of our Trending Tidbits on AI. But don't go anywhere just yet. We'll be back with the final part of our exploration of how AI works, where we'll tackle the big question, what does the future hold for AI and for us? All right, so we're back for the grand finale of our Trending Tidbits on AI, inspired by Ronald T. Nussall's How AI Works. We've covered the nuts and bolts of machine learning, peeked into the potential impacts across different fields, and even pondered that philosophical puzzle of, conscious AI.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. And now it's time to gaze into our crystal ball and consider what does the future hold for AI? And, more importantly, what does it mean for us humans along for the ride?
Right, because understanding the nuts and bolts is one thing, but grasping how this is all going to play out in the real world, that's the real mind bender.
I agree. And Nussel actually does a great job of diving into these big questions. He acknowledges that the future is always uncertain, but he also offers some thought-provoking scenarios to consider.
All right, let's hear him. What possible futures does Nussel paint?
Well, he starts by reminding us that AI is already deeply woven into our lives. It's the algorithms that curate our social media feeds, the AI assistants that answer our questions. It's often running in the background without us even realizing it.
It's true. It's become this invisible force shaping so much of our digital experience. But where does it go from here?
One path Nussel highlights is towards even greater integration. As AI systems become more and more advanced, they could become seamlessly embedded in our homes, our workplaces, even our own bodies.
Now we're talking about that sci-fi future we've all imagined. Smart homes anticipating our needs, AI-powered prosthetics, enhancing our abilities, maybe even brain-computer interfaces that connect us directly to the digital world. It's both exhilarating and a little scary.
Exactly. It's a future where those lines between human and machine become increasingly blurred. And that raises, a whole host of ethical and philosophical dilemmas that we can't just ignore.
For sure. If AI becomes this deeply integrated into our lives, who gets to control it? How do we make sure it's used for good and not for harm? And what does it even mean to be human in a world where machines are becoming increasingly intelligent?
Those are the million-dollar questions. And Nussel doesn't claim to have all the answers, but he stresses that we need to be proactive in shaping the future of AI. We can't just passively let the technology, dictate our destiny. We have to be deliberate in how we develop and use AI, ensuring that it aligns with our values and serves humanity as a whole.
So it's not about being anti-AI or fearing the technology. It's about taking the reins and steering it in a direction that benefits everyone.
Precisely. And Nussel emphasizes the need for collaboration. We need scientists, engineers, policymakers, ethicists, everyday people all working together to make sure that AI is a force for good in the world.
It's we need a global conversation about AI, similar to what's happening with climate change. We need to come together as a species and figure out how to navigate this, like this uncharted territory.
I agree. And Newsell's actually quite optimistic that we can rise to the challenge. He sees the potential for AI to help us solve some of humanity's, biggest problems, from climate change and disease to poverty and inequality.
So it's not all like doom and gloom predictions about robots taking over. There's a real possibility for like a brighter future with AI as a partner.
Absolutely. But that brighter future isn't guaranteed. It depends on the choices that we make today.
Hmm.
We need to be mindful of the potential risks while also embracing the incredible opportunities that AI offers.
It's about finding that sweet spot, harnessing AI's power while protecting what makes us human. What a balancing act.
It is, and Newsell leaves us with this really powerful message. The future of AI is ultimately up to us. Our choices, our actions, our values, they'll determine what kind of world we create with this technology.
That's both empowering and a bit daunting. We have this incredible opportunity to shape our destiny, but also like a huge responsibility to get it right.
I agree. The AI revolution is already happening, and it's only going to accelerate. So what does this all mean for our listeners? What can they do to prepare for this AI-powered future?
That's the big question. We've given them all these trending tidbits about AI, but how can they actually like use this knowledge? What's their like takeaway?
First, I think it's crucial to stay informed. Books like How AI Works are a great starting point, and there are tons of resources available online, articles, videos, podcasts that, break down AI concepts in really accessible ways.
Right. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to understanding these new technologies that are like rapidly shaping our world.
Absolutely. But don't stop at just learning. Get involved in the conversation. Talk to your friends, your family, your colleagues about, the ethical implications of AI. Let your elected officials know what you think.
So don't be a passive observer, be an active participant in shaping the future of AI.
Exactly. And finally, remember that AI is a tool, a powerful tool that can be used for good or for bad. And it's up to us, collectively, to decide how we want to wield that power.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up our trending tidbits on AI. We've explored a lot of fascinating ground together, from the mechanics of machine learning to the potential impacts on society and that big question of AI consciousness. It's been a wild ride.
It has, but it's just the beginning. The AI revolution is just getting started, and it's going to be fascinating to see where it takes us. So stay curious, stay engaged, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one shaping the future of AI.
Well said. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this AI adventure. We'll catch you next time for more trending tidbits on the most fascinating topics shaping our world.